So this week, things really ramped up with regards to the coronavirus. In the beginning of the week, we saw the markets start to crash slightly under instabilities caused by coronavirus, as well as from the oil price war happening between Saudi Arabia and the likes of Russia. Majority of markets in Asia were roughly down by between about 5 and 7% on Monday, and this spread later on into European markets as well as heading into North America. It seems like the spread of the coronavirus has caused a lot of instability among investors and markets, with a lot of uncertainty around the effects that the coronavirus may have on business. The effects are just unknown at the moment, and this has brought about the skepticism in the market. The US has announced a 30-day travel ban from Europe into the US, which could cause financial and economic stresses for the global economy. From a financial perspective, the coronavirus is already having major impacts. We've seen businesses in Italy, in particular northern Italy, having to close their doors as the government implements restrictions on their shopping hours. Cruise ship companies have suspended their upcoming cruises for a 2-month period, which could severely impact their revenue. Unfortunately, we won't know the effects the coronavirus will have on the health systems of the globe, as well as what effect the coronavirus will have on the economy globally. Unfortunately, only time will tell the true impacts of the virus. I spoke to a friend of mine, Sashin Naidu, who is living in Hefei, China. He's been living in self-isolation for the past 2 months, and I got his thoughts.
In the beginning of this whole situation in China, they didn't really have like a lockdown policy. They just like advised us to stay at home, and most of the shops were closed and schools were closed. And then after a few weeks, then they got a bit stricter and they implemented a 3-day per week strategy that we're allowed to go out and get our groceries or do whatever. And some places I've heard that they're only allowed once. Yeah, so they're only allowed out once a week. But other places, it just depends on where you are. So my city is in the province next to Wuhan. So obviously the infection rate was also a bit high. It wasn't too crazy, and there wasn't that many deaths or anything. But yeah, we just had to take precautions. So we could only, and still to this day, we only allowed to go out 3 times a week. And schools are still closed, but they did set a date that we could return to our centers, which is the 16th or 18th of March, which is next week. But I think the kids will still be at home. So at the moment, we're doing online courses. So that's how we operating at the moment. So the kids will go online and we'll teach them their lessons. And I think it'll probably be like that for a bit longer, probably the next month or so. And yeah, we're still getting paid as normal, which is good. But I've heard that some people aren't getting paid. So it just depends on the school and stuff like that. But for me, I'm still getting paid and it's okay. One thing I've noticed about this situation, there's not much panic, to be honest. Like the supermarkets are well stocked, and you don't feel like unsafe or panicked going out. Just when you go out, you have to wear a mask. Like they require you to do that, and if you don't, they tell you to put your mask on. And yeah, you see like people disinfecting the streets and malls, and every mall has and shops actually, they have like a check, how do I say it? Like they have a guard that checks your temperature and just makes sure you don't have a fever. So, yeah, I think China has been quite well prepared for the situation. Um, so, yeah, I feel much safer being here than in South Africa, to be honest, because I don't think SA will have such a strict policy or will have things under control like China did. Because in the amount of time, like China shut down everything. Like only this week or last week, like restaurants and shops started to open slowly. So like Starbucks opened last week, and the mall by me started opening as well. So it's not too bad, but yeah, it's just boring being at home. That's the main issue for me. But other than that, it's not like I feel unsafe or at risk as per se.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you enjoy the content, please remember that you can support the podcast via Patreon, and the link is below. And all support is welcome and muchly appreciated.